Hello everyone and welcome to FiST Chat, the vodcast that features discussions on the topics of film, science and technology. My name is Ben Warner and I'm joined once again by my good friend, colleague, avid tweeter and Facebooker extraordinaire, Steve Kern. How you doing there, Steve?
Hi everyone, I'm very well. It's a real pleasure to say hello to everyone out there in FiST Chat land, and I believe we passed an important milestone last week, Ben.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks to all of your support, we passed 10,000 likes on Facebook, which is fantastic. That's thank you all for the support and for following us and checking in with all of our comments and ramblings and episodes and whatever. It's a great achievement after 6 months. So
certainly.
So that's fantastic. And just to reiterate, our website www.fistchat.com. You can get all of our episodes on YouTube. You can get our most recent episodes via MP3, and you can get us on Facebook and Twitter, of course. So feel free to email or Facebook or tweet us, and we'd love to hear from you. And since we're talking about Facebook and Twitter, that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today: social networking etiquette. So just before we kick off, love getting all your comments, but any junk mail or any spam, we've noticed a few little bits and pieces coming in over the last couple of months. We'll be ignoring that, I think, won't we, Steve?
Wow, that's good etiquette, isn't it? Yeah, good friends don't spam you, and that includes chainmail with some story of some girl who cheated all odds to live.
Either that, or how you can outdo and get the most amount of views on YouTube or something like that with the perfect social networking plan.
That's right. Or even just re-spamming the Twitterverse with recycled tweets.
Exactly. So, all right, well, let's talk about etiquette. The main thing obviously this is a recent phenomenon, but the main thing about it is that it can have real effects on your interpersonal relationships in the real world, no matter who you're talking to or whoever you liaise with. And I think we've talked about this before, that you have to be very careful about what you post in those 140 characters or whatever else on Twitter or Facebook, because so many people can see it.
Oh, absolutely. Look, this goes back to the ancient days of email, back when people first started using email and started leaving the written letter form. And, of course, many sentences written very quickly in emails that have offended people, which is why we invented emoticons.
Gotta love that, the colon and the bracket, it's for the old smiley face.
And no room for emoticons in Twitter. So you've only got 140 characters, so you've got to be very careful what you say, particularly if you say some of the nasty things that some higher profile people have been caught saying. And then, of course, you have to pretend that it's been misinterpreted when you call someone a bitch.
Exactly. I mean, that's the thing that a lot of people may not realize, is that because it's public, especially in the case of Twitter, because Facebook, you sort of got a bit of control over who sees what you're posting, but Twitter is totally public. So
well, I beg to differ. I mean, how much privacy have you got when you might only have 3 friends on Facebook, but your friend's got 500, and he tags you doing something stupid in a photo?
Yeah, that's right.
You're gone. You're gone. Everyone knows.
Yeah, and that's almost another thing entirely. The whole privacy aspect, especially in Facebook, is that even if you go in and really lock things down, if they make a change, and given their philosophy of open everything, it seems like they reset the privacy button and then everything's available for everyone to see, and then you have to go in and manually change everything again.
But getting back to etiquette, Ben, if you want to share a photo with me, but then I go and tag you in it and give it to my 10,000 Facebook friends, is it not is it not public domain? Is the fact that you posted it, is that not reverse etiquette now? It's like, don't post it if you don't want it to be seen.
Well, exactly. I mean, there's on the internet and not on the internet. And I think in this day and age with Facebook and Twitter, if you post something, then it's fair game, because quite frankly, that's almost the whole purpose of these platforms. It's to broadcast things to the world. And even if you are able to lock things down, say in Facebook, Twitter you can't, but in Facebook it's still going out. If you've got 100 people or 200 people, there are going to be that many people that see it. So you got to watch yourself. Just take as an example, right? Like if in a hypothetical situation, you send me a Facebook friend request, and then I either choose to ignore it or reject it. I don't get back to you, and then
I wondered why you hadn't got back to me, Ben. What's going on?
I didn't want to break it to you this way on public on a public episode.
That's not good etiquette, Ben.
No,
you should have sent me a private message.
Absolutely. So, and then what happens if we meet up by chance out on the street? There's a potential that you could be upset, because is it really any different than being rejected by someone if say you ask someone out or something like that? Because in a way, if you're not included in that person's Facebook friend circle, it's in a way a kind of rejection, isn't it?
Oh, it's an incredible rejection. I'm starting to feel the pain of it right now. But what do we do? I mean, it's in real life, even if you don't really want to hang around with someone, you might run into them somewhere and talk to them for 10 or 15 minutes or an hour if you're forced to. But physically, you're not forced to spend any more time with them. However, online, they're part of your world then, and they're probably clicking on like for everything you do. And making ridiculous comments about your holiday in the snow or something.
Yeah.
Not to mention, distributing that photo around the world.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where it becomes of great importance to watch what you put on there. And I made this conscious decision a little while ago, especially with my own personal Facebook profile, that it would be primarily used to promote a lot of my, online links and media and that sort of thing. So for the most part, all people are really, who are friending me, all they are going to see are links to videos or films or blog posts or whatever. Occasionally, I'll throw some photos from something, somewhere where I've gone or something like that, because I'm happy to put that up there for certain people to see. But I think I'm sort of gone past the point of not wanting to, comment every day on something that pissed me off or making some funny sort of remark or whatever. I mean, not naming names or anything, but there are people that I've got friends there that perfectly fine, but every day they might be complaining about something. Or then you get, on the other hand, you get people that seem to log in once every 6 months, and you don't really hear from them at all. So it's kind of a bit of a give and take kind of thing, and you got to kind of understand how it all works, and not complain when something backfires on you.
But what is good etiquette? I mean, with mobile phones, we've seen some very strict rules, like turning off your phone before you go and watch a film in a cinema, or not texting all the way through dinner. I mean, but we don't seem to have established any sort of proper etiquettes, and certainly not ones that everyone agrees on online, except don't say anything defamatory.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but it's hard to say. I mean, like you said, text messages, people seem to have an understanding of what that is, even though every now and then you still hear the odd story of people getting caught out doing dodgy things with text messages. But it is like you said, it is even, I think the problem is that it doesn't feel like it's that official when you're doing it on Facebook or Twitter, but when you actually understand that what you say on Facebook or Twitter or any other sort of social media platform, that it could come back and offend someone, if you don't actually understand that, then you really shouldn't be on there using it. Because, I mean, and it's just like even things like YouTube, you know, there's a community attached to YouTube with videos, and, you know, you'll get people that'll flag, you know, dodgily uploaded videos featuring something, you know, that really isn't appropriate. On the flip side, you'll get people supporting each other as well if they see something that they like. So you got to. It's just like basically interacting with people.
True, but I mean the lines are blurred in some aspects. I think, you know, especially with Twitter, you know, the fact that if you're actually part of a Twitter conversation, you might actually talk to someone, you know, not direct message, but you're still in. Well, I think a lot of people in the Twitterverse believe they're conversing or having a conversation with someone in Twitter directly, but 140 characters isn't a conversation. That aside, other people pick up their tweets and then effectively, you know, that's where it all boils over. There's no, is it a problem with the software, I guess is what I'm saying.
No, my take on it is the problem with the user. Because at the end of the day, they're private companies. They created this thing. No one's like putting a gun to your head saying you have to sign up and join in with this thing, you know. And yes, they have a certain responsibility in relation to privacy, making sure everyone's available to understand, you know, so that everyone can understand how it all works and everything. But I think in terms of etiquette and how you relate to other people online, you really do have a personal responsibility to be courteous to people that you converse with online. And on the flip side, if it turns out you have people that are not courteous to you, then that's when you have to either, you know, point that out to them or simply just take them off your list.
Well, I'll ask you this then, because I think the big thing that will happen now in terms of etiquette will be images.
Yeah.
And this will happen because of the cloud. We've spoken about the cloud a number of times. But images with you in them now will be up in the cloud. You know, is that right? I mean, who should own your image? You know, what if somebody takes a personal photo of you and you're in it and it's out there, you know, advertising something or making a site great?
Well, maybe this is just an extension of, you know, in a sense, for such a long time, you get famous people and celebrities and whatever else who have this problem where people take photos of them constantly and they don't really own those images that get published.
Yeah.
And it seems like because these mediums are so instantaneous, are so accessible, so easy to interact with, that maybe that's sort of spilling over now just to everyday people like, you know, you and me, for example, that, you know, you post something online or you're in a photo with someone else and you can get tagged and then you're done.
We might be seeing a whole range of new laws come out of this. As well as moral and ethical ones.
But can it be sort of policed in any way, really? I mean, I think, you know, it's very clear. I had a friend who worked at a government agency who actually had a look at the Facebook terms and conditions. And it's very blatantly states in those terms and conditions that essentially they can do whatever they want with the material that you upload.
Which is exactly what you do when you, you know, get an actor or any talent to sign a release form.
Exactly.
So I'm just wondering, though, what hasn't been tested legally yet, though, is if you're a celebrity or even if you're just an ordinary person and you get your photo snapped while you're out in the street, surely you still own your image like you would if you're an actor.
Maybe, but yeah, it's sort of a murky area, isn't it? There is, like you said, it hasn't been tested, and I think that's where this etiquette thing comes into even more prevalence because if people demonstrate proper etiquette online, then these sort of things shouldn't be a problem. But of course, there are going to be people that abuse these things, which and eventually, this is maybe something we can look out for and maybe talk about in a future episode when it does happen. If there is a case brought out or something like that, then then things will get serious, and I guess maybe we will see some laws come in. But anyway, we're out of time already. Sorry about that, Steve. But just saw the clock there. But good to chat to you again. But it's a fascinating topic, and I'm sure we can revisit it because we interact online, and we've got our own sort of platforms online, so it's particularly relevant to us, particularly when we're asking people to interact with us as well. Don't forget our vodcast is available at www.fistchat.com. That's it for this week. Thanks again, Steve, and we'll see you next week.
Yep, tweet us.